This is with some warm water, some water that I heated up. It's 4:30 in the morning in Chicago, United States of America. And I should have just did this lesson before Christmas, but it's a brief piece that I'm doing. It won't take any more than it shouldn't take any more than 15 minutes. And my name is Lee Cummings, uh, the author of the Negro Question book series. And I want to do a little Christmas piece for you. And I'm going to show you that it is theoretically, I mean, literally, theoretically, numerically impossible that Yeshua, Jesus, Yahweh, Shah, they got 1,000 names for him, that he was born December 25th. And we're going to start this off in Luke, the first chapter, in the 26th verse. Luke 1 and 26, it says, and in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city of Galilee named Nazareth. So the 6th month corresponds to your English calendar, what they call the Gregorian calendar that the whole world is using, as June. So this is my 6th month. Verse 27, to a virgin, Bethuel, exposed to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. In verse 31, he tells her, well, I'll pick it up at verse 30. An angel said unto her, fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with Elohim, with God. And behold, how would you say that? Hain, wall behain, and behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Yahweh Shah, Yeshua / Jesus. So the angel shows up on your calendar if you're in America or in the West. And I don't know about the rest of the calendars around the world, but you would think that they all were interlinked or connected with our calendar just to do business. So the month June is the 6th month, January being the 1st month or the beginning of the year to the Europeans or the West, 6 being the 6th month. So the angel shows up in June. And he tells the woman, look, you're going to conceive in a womb, you're going to have a son. So if I take June and I count 6 months from June, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th month is December, January, but generally December. First of all, Jesus would not meet the one that died on the cross, or the Messiah or the Mashiach would not have met the criteria for the Messiah. One of the criteria is that he had to be a lamb as a sin offering. The lamb had to be without spot or blemish. If he would have been born 6 months from June, which is December, he would have been what we call in our generation in 2025 a preemie or a premature baby. And my baby son, Fats was a preemie. And he was born like around 7.5, 8 months, and his back and his legs were not fully developed. I said, man, he looked like a frog to me, but they put him in the incubator for I think it was a month because anyway, and so he finally developed out a normal 9-month birth or a 9-month child, but his last month was he was still developing outside the womb. So which means he would have had a spot or a blemish. So the one we call Jesus or Yeshua or Yahweh Shah, he couldn't have been born in December because he would not have met the criteria for the sin offering. And I wish that I wish I had put this in this little brief lesson, but I'll get back to it. So we got December is 6 months from June. If I add 3 more months, January, February, March, he'd have been born, and he'd have been born around the Passover. He would not have been born December 25th. And we're going to show you there was a God and a group of gods that were born December 25th, but the Jesus of the Bible, the real Jesus, or the real Yeshua, or the real Yahweh Shah, was not born December 25th. And you were being duped into worshiping Sol Invicta, the Roman god. So let's go and take a look. What does the Bible tell me? What did the Lord say was the beginning of the year or the first month of the year? Let's go to Exodus, the 12th chapter. I should read it through this without even reading the script. Exodus 12 says, Exodus 12 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Mizraim, Egypt, saying, Zah, Chadash, Tah, Ha'i. This month shall be unto you the Reshon or Reshet of Hadash Im. The beginning of the month shall be the first, which would be Reshon Hadash or a Chad Chadash, the first month of the year, and the year could be Shani to you. So I'll read it in English. This month should be unto the beginning of the month. It should be the first month of the year to you. It says right here in verse 5, your lamb should be what? Without blemish, a male of the first year. You should take it out from the sheep or from the goats. Now, did y'all see that? Verse 5 said this lamb had to be without blemish. If you're sure, or Jesus or Yahweh Shower, they got a lot of names for him. If he had been born in June, if the woman conceives in June, the 6th month, her gestation or her pregnancy would have only been 6 months, and that would have been December. He would have had a blemish because he would have been a premature child. But he was born in March, April, around the Passover. And the reason we know Passover, because watch what verse 31 or verse 11 says. And you shall eat it, what? Your Passover lamb, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So since Passover starts March, April, then what is the 6th month? So the 6th month corresponds to what? September on the Hebrew calendar. So the September is the Hebrew calendar 6 months. Because somebody saying, what would it have been on the Hebrew calendar? I'm going to show you. I don't care what calendar you use. You cannot get December as a birth date for the Messiah, or what we call in Hebrew the Mashiach. Now, and the word for Passover is Pesach. Pesach. Now, check this out. If September is my 6th month, then what is the 12th month on the Hebrew calendar? So I just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. February is the 12th month on the Hebrew calendar. So from September to February is 6 months. So I add 3 more months to it, March, April, May. I got Jesus being born May, June, no later than June. And again, this corresponds to what? The time that this is the reason why the shepherds were in the field, because it was the summertime. Okay, so let's get something straight. On the English calendar, he's born March, Passover. On the Hebrew calendar, he's born around the month May, June. And I think, as you can see from the 2 models that's on your screen, it is impossible that he could have been born in December. So what was the first month? Passover. Does the book tell you that Passover is the first month? Because remember, the Lord told you the beginning of your months would be the Passover. Let's go to Leviticus 23 and see if it spells it out plainly. Leviticus 23 and 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, Yahweh, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. We just showed you that. And the 14th day of the first month at even is what? Yahweh or the Lord's Passover. You can't, so the book has 2 witnesses, Exodus and Leviticus. It is theoretically, it is mathematically impossible that Jesus, Yahweh Shower or Yeshua, was born in the winter. First of all, if you understand the thinking of God, remember what he told Abraham concerning his first son? I mean, concerning Isaac, he said, I'm going to return to you at the time of life. Well, what is the time of life? Spring, summer. You don't, December is not the time of life. December technically is the time of death. That's when all the vegetation dies. The leaves fall off the trees. Animals go into hibernation. So he was born during what? The time of life. Now watch this. I want to go to Ezekiel. I want to go to Jeremiah 10 and 1 because they're pushing Christmas in the Christmas tree. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Watch this. Now, this is the prophet Jeremiah 2,600 years before we were born, in the year 2225 BC, or 2225 AD, correction. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of the heavens, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So whatever follows this verse 2 is what heathen do. For the customs of the people are vain. One cut a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. Wait a minute. They go out into the woods, they get a tree, they deck it with silver and with gold. That's what Big Mama, Big Daddy, Big Mama, Granddaddy, Grandmama, Father, Mother did. Then they started coming up with the commercial tree. It was a synthetic tree that you could pull out. You could fold it up, put it in the box, break it out every December 25th. But again, the Lord said, "This is what." He said, "The customs of the people are vain." The Christmas tree is a vain thing. It is an abomination. And we're going to show you. You say, well, why are you saying that it's an abomination? Because according in the mind of the Lord, this tree is representing something. You all don't realize it because your teacher, your preachers are only interested in the profits that they're going to make during the Christmas season. And we're going to show you that the apostles, Paul, understood this a lot better than your average preacher, your modern preacher, because he's going to talk about, now on your Christmas tree, every Christmas tree has something on the top of it. Now they decked it with silver and with gold. Oh, I can't find it. That's interesting, ain't it? Well, let's go and see if we can find it. Yeah, is that it? No, that's not it. Give me 5 more seconds. If I don't find this, shame on me. But the book talks about they placed a star on the top of the tree that represented the star of their god, Rembrandt. Because we already got the gold and the silver on the tree. One thing I have to do right now is put that star on top of that tree, and then we good. It doesn't look like I got it. I can't believe this. Yeah, give me a second. This is part of the lesson. So I'm gonna have to pull it up. You know, like in football, I tell my class, in football, they do an audible. And they have to sometimes, the guy get up to, he don't like to play, he said. Let's see right quick. Rembrandt. It was Acts the 7th chapter and the 43rd verse. How come I didn't see it? Acts 6. I should have saw that. Acts 7 and 43. Here it is right here. That's why I didn't see it. It's not highlighted enough. I'll put it right here. Star your God. Anyway, let's go to Acts the 7th chapter and the 43rd verse. It says, yeah, you took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your God, Rembrandt. And so that star, first Jeremiah the 10th chapter said they go out into the woods They cut down the tree, they deck it with gold and silver. The Lord says it's an abomination and it's the work of the heathen. And then Paul the apostle came back and denounced your Christmas tree by talking about the star that you put on top of the tree, the star of your God. So that Christmas tree is representing what? A false God. And I know you don't believe it, but one of the gods that were born on December 25th, his name is Tammuz. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter and the 12th verse. This is the God that the Israelites worshiped on December 25th. But this was not the Yeshua. This was a Babylonian God. Now, when they went down into Babylon, they went down there and lost their minds, man. Ezekiel 8 and 12. Hold on while I drink this. This is nothing but hot water. It's too late in the morning to drink coffee. Ezekiel 8 and 12. Let's go. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients, Zakan, Mana, Beat, Ma Yisrael, have thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, Yahweh, Ray at Anachona or Anahona. But the Lord seeth us not, law or and. The Lord seeth us not. The Lord hath forsaken. To cleave is to debak, dalbak, cleave. But if I say to forsake, if I say forsake, it has something to do with the word sacrifice. Like if you offered up a sacrifice, it'd be like zab cha or zab ha. But if you didn't offer up the sacrifice, it'd be zab and zabah and or azab, which means you were forsaken. Why? Because there was no sacrifice for you. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. It says, verse 14, this one, he said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see great abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Tammuz was born, he was the Babylonian god that was born December 25th. And the sisters used to weep for him because he was supposed to bring forth the spring and new birth. And so what we have here is an abomination that our people have been fooled into since we've been in this captivity. And it's not just our people, it is the whites, we call it Gentiles or Anglo-Saxons, the Slavs, the African, the Hamites, the Africans, the seed of Shem, and all of Japhet or Yaphet. The whole world has been deceived. You know, I had a list. I'm only bringing this into the conversation because we're talking about it. I had a list of gods that were born December 25th. A list of gods that were born December 25th. And I thought I did. Pretty sure I did. Anyway, I know that Sol Invicta, the Roman god, was born December 25th. Buddha was born Krishna was born December 25th, the god of the Indians or the Pakistanians or the Hindus. So Horus, the Egyptian god, was born December 25th. I want you to think about this. Mithra, the Persian Roman god, December 25th. Attis, the Phrygian god, was born December 25th. Dionysus, the Greek god, December 25th. And Sol Invicta, I mentioned him once. So all these gods were born December 25th. And so what pagan Rome did was, in order to have the entire empire on the same page, they adopted December 25th as the birth date of Jesus, Yeshua, or Yahweh Shah. It is practically impossible. That's why I titled this little theme or this little message, Can You Count to Nine? And if you can count, if you could just go back to Luke, the first chapter, and the 26th verse, and you get your start, you get your point of reference. You begin your count at the 6th month, which is June, and then you can see that it was impossible for the Messiah or the Mashiach to be born Lada or Yalada Yalada in how we say six, Shishi, Shishi, Chadash in the 6th month. It's you if you can count, if you could have the Messiah being born in December, and if you do that, then you're going away from the principles and the rules of the scripture. He Exodus 12 said you had to take up a lamb that had no blemish. Tamim. Tamim means perfect. So now that we've arrived at this simple solution, I want to say, listen, if you're sitting in the ministry, if you're sitting in the church, and your minister cannot count to 9, then you are in the wrong church. And I'm sorry, you can't be mad at me. You need to be mad at your preacher. Can you count to 9? I bet you got some babies that could take June and count 9 months. Now, this is, as I close this out, make sure to, if you to buy the Negro Question books, go to Amazon. Oh, no, I can't believe I got this plate here. Go to Amazon, Amazon.com. You can buy the Negro Question books. And one of the books I like to feature for the birthday to Jesus, and this is interesting. I wrote this book. This is one of the first books that I wrote. It's called The Jesus-Mary Conspiracy. You know, I wrote this book probably about 2000. What's the date on this? I wrote this book in 2011. That was 14 years ago. When I wrote this book, I didn't even know how to write. It was the first book that I wrote. But this gives a detailed description, the birth date, the crucifixion, the correct year that he was born, the correct year that he died. I would buy this one for this presentation, the Jesus-Mary Conspiracy. But we got a host of books. I wrote Who Am I? An identity piece, the African slave ships that came from Judah. Each book is designed to increase your level of consciousness in the truth. Now, one last thing. If you're in these camps, do not allow yourself to be dominated by the people that's running the camps. Maintain your manhood, maintain your womanhood. Be strong in the power of the Lord and in the spirit of his might. I just want to thank you for your time this morning. Have a good evening. And again, I'm Lee Cummings, the author of the Negro Question book series. You can visit the bookstore too, the Negro Question Bookstore.ecwid.com.